Ooh.
Great. We're all set to go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first of a series of episodes of a podcast that Dirk Terpstra and I um, we will be coming here together on Facebook to speak about so many subjects that are going to be interesting for the feminine and the masculine, but also how to um, bring the healing of the masculine and the healing of the feminine into full circle. We will be talking about so many things regarding to healing, heart's intelligence, intuition, all the juicy stuff that we so love to talk about. Um, but now I will let Dirk tell you a little bit about himself, and we'll talk a little bit about how we got connected first. So you would get to know us a little bit before we move into this series of episodes of this podcast. Dirk, thank you for doing this, and welcome to the first episode.
Thank you. I've been so looking forward to this, Rhonda, and I'm so happy to be here with you and with everyone who's watching or watching after the live. Doesn't matter. Um, East meets West. I always feel,
Yes.
although we always meet somewhere in the middle because we speak the same language or we vibrate at the same frequency. So I couldn't be more happy to be with you, and maybe it's a good moment for you to kick it off. You know how we met. I will probably talk a little bit about myself then, although that's not my preferred thing to do, but just challenge me.
All right. Okay, I think that we were talking about how we got connected just before we went live, and we remembered that our first meeting was sometime in summer 2017. This is after I got my certification in resilience coaching, and we started, talking about so many things that we had um, in common. But one of the things that really attracted me to your mission, to your work, to your way of thinking is how you said I do have, like, you were sharing with me how you feel that you can or you want to bring more impact into all the places in this world that lack coherence, the places that lack peace. And so this is how we started our connection first. And this is how I realized how much you embody the heart qualities. And like you said, East meets West. And it was so easy for me to connect with you. It didn't matter that we lived in different parts of the world or we spoke different languages, even though I speak English and you do too, but it's not our we each have our own native language, which is different. But still there was this a heartfelt connection, like a soul connection, based on shared values that I felt, and also how you were really passionate about, you still are, but this is when I realized how passionate you are about bringing more healing into this world, but doing that regardless of, the seemingly division or what separates us on the outside, like language or what continent we live on, or our citizenship and all of that. So that was something that really touched me, and I realized that I want more people in my circle who have this mission, who have this much heart and want to bring this much heart into this world, but also in a way that feels like tangible. There's something that can be done. We're not just saying, I want to bring peace into the world, I want to bring healing into the world, but And so with what you're doing, Dirk, I realized that you bring the masculine and the feminine energy both into perfect balance as well in your work, with the healing that you do. So yeah, that was the beginning of our connection.
Yes, and I remember it so well. I tend to believe that it's a matching frequency, no matter where we're at, whatever continent, whatever language we speak. What I know for sure, for 100% sure, which is very unique in a way to feel that, is that there was definitely, this was almost like predestined. We were destined to meet and to connect and to get closer to each other. And the reason for that is I'm not 100% clear, but always when I speak about friends or I speak about you to my friends, I talk about this incredibly courageous woman who has a voice, you know, in the place where she lives. Um, and how courageous that is in so many ways, but also to speak from your heart, not be, you know, trying to divide things and all that. And that's something that we have in common because we both feel that we want to contribute to a better place. And I agree with you it's almost bred into me that I'm very actionable. So I do see things, I do feel things very strongly. And at the same time, when I feel them, I want to manifest them because the creator gave me this body that I can use to express what I feel and how I can contribute to the world. And whether we call it healing, whether we call it light, whether we call it love, I think it's all the same. And we've spoken together quite a bit about that. And that's probably where we meet in that vibration. We're the two tuning forks, so to speak, where we find each other. There is a resonant frequency between each other. And then I've learned in my life, then I have to pay attention, then I have to listen.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Dirk. And I'm hoping that our audience would also find that matching frequency, that resonance with what we're going to share here. And so I would like to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself because a part of my audience, they still don't know you that much. So I think it would be great to, because I'm talking about your work and your mission, and I think they would love to know more about that.
Yeah. So yes, you're right. But English is not my first language. I was born and raised in the Netherlands, so I'm Dutch. Although I'm Canadian now, I live in Canada, Western Canada. Um, I was born into a family where my mom had, before she gave birth to her three sons, I'm the youngest one, she had a very profound near-death experience when she was about 18. She was very sick and she was dying in a hospital. And they basically left her there to die because they didn't know how to help her anymore. Well, obviously, and thank goodness that she didn't die and she came back. And the way she raised us, and I spent a lot of time with my mom as the baby. In a way that I think has been very profound for the way how I embrace life. Then around the age of 5, 6, I became very sick. So when you talk about healing, I also think about the physical healing, because which is related to our emotional and spiritual and mental healing. I became very sick, and those 2 years were very interesting because I thought that I was very weak as a boy because everybody, you know, my kid friends were playing outside. They had a great time and I wasn't allowed. I had fever and I was very sick. It was a little fake what I had. But 2 years after that, I seemed to grow over that. But I have had this profound gratitude for being in a healthy body and realizing that I wasn't going to die when I was 30, because that's what I felt when I was 5, 6 years old. I thought I'm never going to make it past 30. And so it was very interesting to see how that went. And then during my journey, I got into corporate life. I seemed to be doing really well there, but I didn't find my purpose there, obviously, I would say, because I was basically, you know, making the shareholders of a big company happy. And then I decided to move with the family from the Netherlands to Canada. And we were very happy. But then a series of events happened where first my dad passed away. Um, Very closely after that, my brother passed away, who was already in quite a bit of trouble, on many levels in life. And then my mom passed away, and then my best friend in a ski accident passed away. So all of these things happened, and I really didn't know what to do anymore. And so I literally had to reinvent myself. And I remember one day, I didn't consider myself like being spiritual, any of that. I was standing outside under the stars and it was so beautiful. It's very dark where I live and I saw the stars. I couldn't help being in awe, but I felt also very down, very deeply down and not knowing what to do. And um, and then I heard a voice, and I heard from people that they heard voices, and I thought, yeah, whatever. But I heard a voice, and I wasn't sure whether it was in my head or it was outside. And that voice told me, why don't you feel the pain? Why don't you allow to feel that pain and embrace that pain that you're feeling? And I thought, wow, that's crazy. And I tried over the next weeks. I really tried that, and it didn't work, and I felt worse. And I got literally so upset with that voice, and I thought, whatever. And I was ready to do whatever, but this wasn't working. And at the moment I was kind of giving up on that idea, something happened. Somebody came up to me, gave me a book. That was a book, by the way, of Anita Morjani, Dying to Be Me. And then a lot of things started clicking for me. And after reading that book, I thought, I want to be here for other people. I want to shine, as you said, I want to shine my light. I want to spread the love that I have been missing in this life so much so, from, in general in the world. I want to help promote peace in this world. And that's actually where my journey started changing very quickly. That's how I ended up interviewing people, interviewing somebody at the HeartMath Institute, and who said, why don't you come and we train you? So I went to California and learned about the intelligence of the heart. And so I got a bit of the science. And then to finish this long-winded story, I got into an accident where I was on a river with a kayak with a friend, and I wanted to help someone, and who were flipped over. So I went out to them, but I got in trouble myself in the river. I was in a log jam, a lot of water flowing under, big trees lying in the river there, and I was drowning there. And in that moment, I actually realized how beautiful it is to actually to cross over and maybe experience a little bit what my mom had experienced then when she was 18. And then obviously I made it, but it profoundly changed my life as well. And then here we are on a Friday morning or a Friday afternoon or evening, sitting here together, two souls who found the same frequency and matched up and have a story to share. And hopefully everyone who watches will stay curious about where we're going with this.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. I'm sure that people will be definitely curious to listen to the wisdom that you will be sharing throughout this series, Dirk. Thank you. So also yeah, you wanted to say something else?
Well, I just want to briefly say one thing. I just shared this interview while we're speaking on my Facebook page. And I know your audience knows so well who Randa is. Could you maybe in a minute or so just explain to my audience who is the woman that I hang out with?
Yes, yes, with pleasure. So my name is Randa Ali. I'm half Lebanese, half Brazilian, and I live in Lebanon. Um, well, my story started, my healing journey started when I exited an abusive relationship, and I had been working corporate for 10 years, and this left me feeling super depleted, super lost, and I got to the point where I felt like I truly missed myself. It was like I have lost myself, my true self. And then there was a moment where I felt like I really need to come back to me, to come back home to myself, because I realized how my culture has alienated me from my essence. And so this is when I started my healing journey. After this experience, I was left with PTSD. And so I wanted to break free from this, what felt like a black hole within me that was just consuming me. And I just wanted to, break free from it, to liberate myself from it. I got to a point where I felt like maybe happiness um, isn't in my destiny. And that's okay with me. I don't think that I want happiness. I would be very much okay with not feeling these yucky feelings that I don't want to feel right now, but I feel like consumed by these feelings. And so I started wanting to learn more about emotions and how can I better manage these emotions. And one thing led to the other, and through a series of synchronicities that allowed me to meet beautiful people such as yourself, Dirk, I met a mutual friend that you and I know, Renata Crescenzo, and she introduced me to heart math and to the intelligence of the heart. And this is where so many things clicked for me, because being a Sufi, there is so much, there's a big foundation of my belief that is built on the essence of the heart and the qualities of the heart and the intelligence of the heart. And now here I am seeing that science is just confirming what I know. So I was like, yes, I want to know more about that. So this is how I got my coaching certificate. And then I started building on that, and I started helping women to break free from societal conditioning, because I was a victim of that as well, because of my culture that was, trying to reduce me to just, a very, very small aspect of who I am. It was trying to define femininity for me. And I always say, we're not cats. We don't like boxes. We are not into fitting into boxes. We don't like boxes. So I thought, no boxes for me. And I want to help women break free from all kinds of conditioning and norms and these rules that define our femininity, that are really have nothing to do with the essence of femininity. And so now I help women from all over the world to build their emotional resilience, to embody their feminine power. And on my journey, although I help women and I'm into feminine energy and feminine essence, I learned that a big part of that is healing the masculine. And so I'm always very interested about that. And whenever I'm reading, Dirk, your articles in your newsletter, and I hope that everybody who's listening is subscribed to that newsletter, because there is profound wisdom that you will receive from every email. I'm always thinking, I want to ask Dirk about how the masculine would, approach this concept. Let's say it's intuition or whatever it is. Because of societal conditioning, we have programmed men to alienate themselves from a very big part of themselves. And so seeing you embody all of these aspects, it also inspired me to see how the masculine also can connect to all of these superpowers within them. And so the natural thing was to me is to we talked a lot. We spoke a lot about so many things, and we always find this common grounds, but I want others to hear that as well. I wanted to share it with others. I want, people to hear that perspective from you, and so that we can also, like I said, bring all of that into full circle. So here we are on this podcast that I hope that the audience would really enjoy.
Yeah, and don't forget, actually, we didn't only talk, we also had coffee together.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely. We did.
very important. Um, yeah, so it's so interesting, listening to you, and thank you for what you shared about, I'm Sufi, or I'm Dutch, or I'm Canadian, or I'm, a man, or you're a woman. And there's still, I believe, and in the future, I'd love to chat about the labels that we use to identify ourselves with, because we probably feel something matches what we deeply feel inside, and then we say, I am this. And you also mentioned the trauma of the experiences that you went through, and in the moment they were, of course, experienced as trauma because you felt it as a misalignment, as a pain. The beauty in all of this, if I wasn't sick, when I was little, if you wouldn't have been going through this, what you call trauma, we would not be sitting here and sharing our hearts with the audience. And so everything that happens in our lives, especially what I feel, I work a lot in the field of trauma, especially when it's really, really painful. It cracks something open in us, deep down in our hearts, and then it serves us as long as we have a community that we feel safe with, that we feel heard, that we can connect with, because otherwise it can be a bit much to do that alone.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing this. And I feel like you answered a question that I was just thinking about when I was hearing your story, and I was like, why? Why does it have to happen through pain? And so you just answered my question. Thank you. Talk about resonance. And I don't know, maybe at some distant time in the future, humanity would have evolved to a place where maybe we can share this wisdom without having to go through so much pain. But for now, I think as long as we're capable of seeing the beauty, like you said, the beauty of all of these experiences, because even in pain, that there would still be beauty if we allow ourselves to see it. And I think what makes it more beautiful is that our capacity to share that beauty with others through a sense of community and open-heartedness. So yeah, I'm excited about this because this is going to be one way we share with the community everything, because we're not only sharing about what we know or what we would love to share with others, but also we're sharing ourselves, we will be sharing our hearts as well with everyone else.
I'm listening to you, and then I work in the field what they call like trauma, and they use the abbreviation like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not a disorder, but anyway, they use that. But then there's something that I always use, and that is the PTG.
Mm.
And I asked people, I said, is it like, did the doctor or psychologist diagnose you with PTG? And they looked worried at me. He said, what is it? I said, well, before too long, you might also suffer from that. And that is post-traumatic growth.
Mm.
So if we are in the moment, what you say call pain, what is pain? Because we always have learned that pain is negative. Pain is not good. Trauma is bad. Dark is not good. We want to stand in the light. And so if you compare that, for example, with other frequencies, like what really you are focused on in the masculine and the feminine, you know, are we asked to choose a certain way?
Mm.
We have the choice to stand wherever we are. And if we feel that we're in a really dark period in our lives, we do have the choice. But the more we get experienced with that, and we have more of these events, then we begin to realize is that before too long, our lives might change actually, and we stand more in the light. We have that capacity. And so the next time you feel pain or you feel very dark, whatever energy around you, at least that's what I do. And I think, well, but I know before too long, actually, I am actually climbing out of that. And I know I feel so much better. And in that moment that I feel that, I'm already starting to move the other way. And that's what I really, really love about, having some years of experience in life, that I think, oh yeah, I've been there before, can transform that. But at the same time, um, I have, as a little boy, always felt the suffering of the world big time, because I can very easily tune into other people. This is why I'm always so, connected with you, with whatever going on in your part of the world. What we see, people are suffering through that. But is it possible for us to not lose our sense of purpose, in the midst of the chaos? And that's what you call, when you feel that I spread light or love or whatever it is, kindness, because that's why you and I are here for. We're not here to just suffer. We are here to experience suffering and then move into a different area where we can inspire other people as well. That's what I believe.
That's beautiful and also empowering for us to just learn that we have that capacity, like you said, and learning what you just said, Dirk, about post-traumatic growth, and learning that we have that capacity within us, within every nervous system out there. This is very empowering, and this is going to, um, show us that, if we remember that, like you said, when I'm in the dark, if I remember that, I can do that, I can come out of this situation because I have it within me, then this will make that journey a little bit somewhat easier. And I feel that what you just said is truly the essence of resilience, because you're building that capacity. Not just, we're not talking here, also to the audience, I want to highlight this, that we're not really speaking spirituality only, or we're not speaking romantic terms here. We're talking science, because this is something that translates itself at the level of the nervous system. It starts building that capacity to hold space for that pain. And as much as we're capable of holding that space for that pain, and then that nervous system is going to allow us to release it, it will also allow us to hold as much pleasure and happiness and joy and kindness and love. And so when we want you to realize that you are capable at this physiological level, at the level of your nervous system. This is what we're learning now, that we each can experience, and we each can build this capacity within our nervous system. And this is something that I'm always also excited to share. And I will be asking you so many questions also about the science behind so many things, because to me, it kind of soothes my inner masculine to learn the science behind things. And it also like tickles my inner feminine a little bit to realize that, oh, these feminine superpowers are backed by science. And so this is what the audience will be hearing from us a lot.
It's so funny to listen to you and to see also myself in you. I used to talk way more about the science. And by the way, yesterday's article that I launched was about the addiction, the chemical addiction to our emotions, which is pure science if people look for that. But there was a person that I really, really respect, and she said, like, Dirk, you talk about the science and the science and the science, but she says there is something bigger than the science actually about this. And I was often afraid to go to the more, let's say, whatever spiritual side. I talk more now about frequency, because that's also science. And I've actually transcended a little bit to keep bringing in the science, because science and whatever we call it, spirituality, are deeply integrated. It could, however, depending on what religious belief that you are connected to, that spirituality could be a little tricky to talk about or even feel into, because it doesn't, it's not being received so well by a certain religion. So that could very well be, and that's a very interesting topic also to dive into another time.
Yes.
And I'm at a point where I say, yes, there's so much science, and then you talk about the cat and the box, and I think the science is also boxed in many ways. And I love to break open that box and say, okay, let's see. Because when I hang out with people, when I interview people that are top-notch scientists, at some point they get into a field where they cannot find it any longer in the books. And then they say, yeah, there goes something beyond the books. And if they're concerned about their funding or whatever it is, then they think, oh, let's not go there. But the independent scientists, well, like the Einsteins of this world, they basically said, like, let's continue. And because we cannot find it any longer in the book, and they begin to realize that they are the book. And then it becomes very, very intriguing.
That's beautiful. That's lovely. And you're reminding me of a Sufi concept that says that exactly what you said, that the book is our heart, and this is what the God is writing into that book that is our heart. So thank you for sharing this. We'll definitely be diving into a lot of subjects that we will definitely present in a very juicy and interesting way that is not short of wisdom, and hopefully empower others as well. So we're at the 30 minutes mark, but we don't want to like take so much of our audience's time. Is there any last words you'd like to share, Dirk, before we go?
I might have, by the way, some Sufi wisdom in my heart. Maybe that's why we connect
No,
so
for
well, that
sure.
I'm not aware of. A person asked me a while ago, one of the veterans that I work with, he says, "Are you a Buddhist?" And I said, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe I am. And so what I wanted to say, first of all, thank you to the audience, and thank you especially to Rhonda here for your actionability, for your courage to stand up in this world. I also want to say that I'm so looking forward to the next one. I feel that we have to wait too long, but anyway, I hope you tune in then. We get into, indeed, what Rhonda said, a lot of juicy topics. And I love to further connect with all of you about the masculine and feminine, because that seems to be a big topic. And it's super interesting to talk about that. And it doesn't matter whether you're a guy or a woman. We all have this beautiful capacity to balance our masculine and feminine energies. It's just a matter of being playful.
Yes, yeah, definitely do it in a playful way. Thank you so much, Dirk. Thank you for being here with me today, and for bringing your beautiful wisdom and your heart into this. And I'm really looking forward to more episodes. Thank you, everyone, and we would love to hear your thoughts on this subject, on this episode, and we will be meeting sometime soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye. Thank you. See you soon.
See you. Bye bye.